Well, you might have heard that Disney has let go of more than 700 equity cast members at Walt Disney World. Equity cast members being those actors that appear in more than a dozen live shows throughout the resort. And while news of layoffs within the Disney company are not unexpected, it's what these layoffs symbolize that's concerning. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about why that is and why this goes beyond the virus. All that and more next on FreshBaked. So as you all know, a few weeks ago, Disney announced that they're going to lay off 28,000 employees across the Disney company. And within that announcement, it was a not so thinly veiled shot at Governor Newsom in the state of California. In it, they essentially blamed the layoffs on the prolonged shutdown of California, which in turn forced Disney to make these layoffs. And if that wasn't their intent, that's pretty much how everybody perceived it. We all experienced it that way. Except that also many people noted that it wasn't just employees at Disneyland that were being let go, but cast members at Walt Disney World, where there are no such limitations enforced by the state. It's wide open. Fast forward a couple of weeks later, and we've got 700 plus cast members being let go, equity cast members at the Walt Disney World Resort. Again, cast members being laid off is not really the headline here. As tragic as it is, we hate to see any member of the Disney family, be that frontline cast members, performers, or people in the offices. We don't want to see anybody let go. But these specifically are a problem for many because they signal Disney's apparent desire to do away with live entertainment in the parks. And I want to start this conversation with one simple observation. That is that 720 equity cast members were let go. Out of 780, this is not a downsizing. This is not a trimming or just, narrowing of the staff. This is an almost total elimination of live entertainment at the Walt Disney World Resort. Who might that be? Well, the citizens of Main Street, the citizens of Hollywood Studios, Monsters Incorporated Laugh Floor, Beauty and the Beast Stage Show, Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, the Jedi Training Academy, Green Army Men, Voyage of the Little Mermaid, Festival of the Lion King, Finding Nemo, the Hoop-Dee-Doo Musical Review, and the Grand Floridian Society Orchestra. The only survivor at this point appears to be the Frozen Sing-Along at Hollywood Studios. So that, by itself, is cause for concern. What's happening with live entertainment at Walt Disney World? But it goes beyond that. Back in August, Disney and the union were at odds over getting performers back to work when the park was reopening. At issue was the union's request that there be regular testing for its performers and masks for performers while on stage. Points that Disney were inexplicably fighting. And this is kind of a point that is confusing for me as an observer because surely Disney's going to try to table this as being a reaction, something that they had to do because of the virus. Lower attendance created a situation. But by all appearances, at the time of the negotiations back in July and August, Disney wanted those shows to return. They wanted to bring the cast members back. They wanted those shows to return. More curious, not long after talks had reached a stalemate with the union, Disney announced that they were going to open testing sites on property for cast members and their families. The union took this as a signal that Disney had agreed to their terms, but Disney, again, inexplicably, wagged their finger at the union and said, no, this isn't for you. This isn't an acquiescence on our part. We're giving these tests. We're going to do these tests for all cast members. This is for everybody. And the idea that we did this because we want to, succumb to the request of the union is not acceptable. Nevertheless, the union agreed to return to work. However, the shows never did resume, and 2 months later, all the performers were let go. All of this, of course, is a bad look for Disney, and it doesn't get better when you look at the history of what's been happening here at Disneyland. And that is where the real concern is for me, from my seat. With regard to these layoffs. Not long ago here at Disneyland, they announced the cancellation of Mickey and the Magical Map and the Frozen show at the Hyperion. Now, it's easy to write those off as casualties of the virus. It's not particularly easy to renew a contract for a show when you're not even sure if your park is going to be open anytime soon. But those are just the most recent assaults on live entertainment at Disneyland. They've been downsizing live shows for years, long before the virus was ever a thing. The Jedi Training Academy, Billy Hill and the Hillbillies were replaced by the Laughingstock, who were then replaced by Two Pianos, who stopped performing not long after that. If you were to go to the Golden Horseshoe today, if the park were open, there would be no shows at the Golden Horseshoe right now. And then don't forget the Newsboys at Carthay Circle And the Hook and Ladder Company canceled 2 years ago. Now, these cancellations were done under the cover of some other circumstance, or at least one could argue it. The Jedi Training Academy was a victim of Galaxy's Edge. Mickey the Magical Map, obviously COVID. But the reality is, when taken from a very long view, a view lasting more than a couple years and continuing today, the observation that we're left to make is that Disney is systematically trying to kill live entertainment in the parks. And what's troubling is that I personally don't know where this is coming from. And that's what I would like Disney to speak to if I could ask them. What is your plan? Why are you doing this? What is your plan? What is the purpose of canceling all these great live shows and getting and sending out all of these great live performers? And I'm really curious to what that answer might be, because I think that a lot of people would agree with me when I say that live entertainment is one of the biggest reasons, one of the biggest things that separates Disney from the rest of the competition. Disney cast members are the best in the business. Disney performers are the best in the business. No other park does it better, more consistently than Disney has done. It's a reason why we choose Disneyland over other parks. But it seems like Disney's more interested in competing in the e-ticket game, competing with other parks for building, bigger attractions that devour budgets, devour real estate, and maybe even start devouring history. Now, some might see this as a leap of logic, going from, letting go of cast members in live shows to, changing the game, the kind of game that Disney's playing. But I feel like it's an example, it's evidence of Disney perhaps losing or forgetting what it is that makes them better. Once Disney was the benchmark for themed entertainment. Everybody looked up to Disneyland. They were trying to be more like Disneyland. But it's the erosion of those extra little things, live shows being one of them, that is beginning to reduce them to just another theme park with, fun themed rides. What Disney is built on, as they've always said, is magic. They feel like magic is their extra ingredient. But the magic that they're talking about is in the people, not in the steel. Now, again, Disney may say that their hand has been forced. They're doing all of this under the cover of disagreements with the union, disagreements with the state of California, or because of the virus in general. But we need only observe their actions prior to the virus to see the true pattern. So I feel like we need to see, absent them undoing what they've done the past few weeks with these layoffs, absent undoing that, I think we need to know what their plan is going forward. And I would love to know how live entertainment factors in that plan, because obviously the Newsom argument just doesn't work here in the case of Walt Disney World. What else you got? So with that, I would like to ask you all to tell me about why you go to Disney parks. What is it that draws you in? Maybe tell a story about an experience you've had, memories made that have stayed with you over the years and brought you back to the parks. Let us know in the comments below, and until next time, guys, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. That'll let you know when new videos are coming up. Otherwise, you can follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked and on Twitter at FreshBaked, that's fresh with no E. And if you have a minute, you can check out our Christmas video that we just did about the new merchandise found at World of Disney. But otherwise, thanks for watching, everybody. And be sure to be kind to one another, stay safe, and fresh baked.